discussion topic is emotional intelligence. How would you define emotional intelligence in your own words?
I think emotional intelligence is the ability to have self-control in any given leadership situation. So being able to control your own emotions instead of letting them get the best of you and maybe jeopardizing how people that you're trying to lead think of you and view you as a leader.
Okay. In what situations do you think emotional intelligence helps you as a leader?
I think it would definitely help in situations such as crisis leadership. A lot of people, they get in their emotions whenever something bad happens and they let it entirely get the best of them. And I think being aware of how they're going to react to a crisis as well as being aware of how you're going to react really makes a huge difference.
Can you talk a little more about the benefits of being aware on both sides of a situation?
Well, it kind of rides off what I was just talking about, where you know how you're going to feel about what they're going to say, and you know how they're going to feel about what you're going to say. So having that emotional intelligence, knowing what causes them to react the way they do, helps you understand how you can kind of like break news to them, or how you can tell them, hey, we're in crisis, I need you to do this, So it just really benefits having that omniscient perspective.
Thank you for being in this interview with us. Look forward to talking to you next time.
Of course.
Thank you.
Alright guys, so today I want to kick off our discussion talking about emotional intelligence in our lives. A few examples of times when people have been emotionally intelligent and or emotionally unintelligent. I'll go first. Back when in high school, when I was working my job in Dothan in the restaurant industry, I had asked my manager for some time off. It was during the holidays, and everybody wants to take time off during the holidays, but a family member of mine had just passed away, and I just really needed this time away. And my manager just didn't understand that. Like, she was just shouting at me, and she was like, you can't, not even letting me get my sentences out. So I got a little heated. I said some choice words, some spicy words, and I ended up getting fired that day. Now, I definitely think she could have handled that a little bit better by trying to understand where I'm coming from and, hearing me out, even if the answer is going to be no. You might as well hear what the full question is. I definitely could have handled it better by, watching my tone, watching what I was saying to her, and, maybe trying to come back at a time that was a little less stressful to ask the same kind of question.
I had a issue, I would say, a couple of years ago. I had something I was trying to accomplish, like a goal or something, and I had a lot of family member, friends reaching out, helping, but I was just so focused on this one thing. I wasn't being really nice to them. I wasn't talking to them about it, what I was trying to do. I wasn't really taking the time out to like have conversation with them, even though they were trying to reach out and just help me. I just was so focused on that one thing that I just pushed them away and shoved them aside. And you know, looking back on that now, I'm kind of like, well, you know, I may have, you know, burned some bridges along the way doing that. You know, lost some friends. You know, may have hurt some feelings along the way, and I could have definitely handled that a little bit better. Just sat down with a couple of them and just, you know, spoke it out and kind of showed them what I was trying to do, and you know, maybe they had some way to help me. So that was one thing that I definitely could have done a little bit better.
Well, I was working on a project here recently with a few buddies of mine, and one of them, they had a little accident. Some pieces of the project that they were working on ended up getting a little messed up, and the only person that I guess they claimed to be with during the time that it could have messed up was me. So instead of coming to me and calmly explaining what the situation was and asking if I would have known anything about it, they immediately accused me of being the one who messed up the things that they were working on. And in that moment, I apologized, even though I had no idea what was going on, and I just said what I needed to get said to get the conversation over with. And like I said, I think they could have taken that situation a little bit better by coming to me with a calmer tone and trying to sort things out civilly. And I think that I could have taken it a little bit better by...
I'm sorry.
We're gonna keep going from there because I'm. What about you? You got anything for us?
Yeah. So, senior year of high school, I was our FFA chapter president, and had two of my other buddies with me. They were my secondary and my vice president. So, you know, being a senior, you know, FFA in general, I mean, you do a bunch of fundraisers and you build stuff in that shop, and it's just fun time. So we were always getting out of class and stuff like that. Well, we had like the AP classes. I don't know if y'all had those, but it was real. It got, and I suck at English. Like, English is my worst subject by far. So it was we was having to do this paper. Well, we, you know, got out of classes and stuff like that. Was in the A shop working on some stuff, and I was just like, I'm just go over here, put my earbuds in, and work on these cornhole boards, make them look nice and stuff. Well, they decided, you know, try to mess with me a little bit, push my buttons, and, you know, I was like, yeah, hey, yeah, whatever, you know, kind of blew it off, you know. Well, when they done it the second time, I kind of like, didn't like go off on them or nothing, but you know, they were like, oh, dang, like, what's up with you? Well, then I kind of like got myself together, and I was like, gosh, what, you know, these are my buddies, I don't need to do that. So, you know, emotionally, I had like, you know, a bunch of my own problems going on, and I let that, you know, kind of release that on them for no reason.
You're listening to 110.0 LDR Radio. Today, we're taking calls from our listeners regarding emotional intelligence. Let's listen in to our first lucky caller.
Captain America, or Steve Rogers, is emotionally intelligent because no matter what conflict he is facing, he continues to motivate others, understand their feelings, and feel empathetic while staying locked in on the challenge at hand. He helps the Avengers win by motivating them to succeed and perform at their highest levels. The most prominent time Cap shows emotional intelligence is in Avengers Endgame. In the beginning scenes, we see the Avengers 5 years later after losing to Thanos, and we see Steve Rogers running a support group. Steve shows support to his fellow humans in helping them cope with their losses, while also working on his own. This is just one of the many times Captain America shows emotional intelligence throughout his superhero days.
There you have it, folks. Let's go to our next caller.
I think Peter Griffin is emotionally unintelligent because he's always thinking about how his situations will affect him, and he never thinks about just how it will make other people feel or why people react the way that they do. he has a lot of instant gratification to him, which is just a sign of not being mature or emotionally intelligent.
That's a wrap, folks. We'll catch you next time on 110.0 LDR Radio.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and remember,
Always practice emotional intelligence.